Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 16 in the book of 1 Peter. I'm going to title today, Entrusting When in Unjustice, not injustice, unjustice. So we're in a wonderful passage, what I call the nuclear power plant of 1 Peter, and we're in a topic of suffering. And I'm going to start in verse 19 today, just to remind us, for this is a gracious thing when mindful of God, one endures sorrows, while suffering unjustly. That's where the unjust part of the title comes. For what credit is it if when you sin and are beaten for it, you endure? But if when you do good and suffer for it, you endure, this is a gracious thing in the sight of God. So here we're reminded we're called to suffer because Jesus suffered unjustment on our behalf, and we're specifically called. It's under his watchful eye. It's not random. So if you get a bad diagnosis today, God can be in it. He can be near and he can be present. Why? Because we're seen, and he can actually meet us in the suffering. And the suffering can be a gracious thing, a good and beautiful, and really be a place of being at the center of God's presence if we're mindful of God. And that means to have knowledge shared with another. And we're called to suffer with the fellowship of God. All right, so then back to the passage. For to this you have been called, verse 21, you have been called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example, so that you might follow in his steps. He committed no sin, neither was deceit found in his mouth. When he was reviled, he did not revile in return. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but continued entrusting himself to him who judges justly. So the big point about today is that suffering is exampled by Jesus. We talked about it yesterday a little bit. He left an underwriting, and then we're supposed to trace over the top, put our piece of paper over the top of what he's already written, and then trace and do what he did, trace over it. So if he was the greatest person who received unjust suffering, it kind of quiets our question. And what about me? I didn't deserve this. Well, Jesus didn't deserve it more than anybody. So let's look and see how the guy who didn't deserve it more than any person in history responded. Number one, deceit was not found in his mouth. That is this cunning and treachery of words or tricking. So Jesus could have gotten out of his suffering with Pilate and Herod and Ananias by using deceitful words. So he did not attack the idea of his suffering and his eventual crucifixion. He gave oral restraint. All these examples are Jesus exhibiting oral restraint. And the first one is by not deceiving and not attacking ideas. The second one is he did not revile. So he did not return reviling. Well, what is that? That's verbal abuse. That's where you attack the person or the character. When someone rails against you, you rail against their character. It'd be like Jesus saying, "Hey, you're the stupidest soldier in the Roman army." It's like oh, you're the ugliest Roman soldier or something like that, as they insulted him and his kingship. It's the comeback of reviling. It's where you attack the person's character. The third thing is when he suffered, he didn't threaten consequences. Things like, if you touch me, I'll kill you and your whole family. And you say that to me, and I'll paralyze your tongue, for 5 generations. And he could have done all those things. Those are not veiled threats. Those weren't unreal potentials. He could have stopped his suffering at any moment by true threats. He could have stopped it at the Last Supper. He could have stopped it at the Garden of Gethsemane. He could have stopped it at his arrest, at his trial, his crucifixion, or the 6 hours on the cross. He was reviled there. You remember that when they said, "Come down now from the cross that we may see and believe." And those who were crucified with him also reviled him. Everybody was reviling him on the cross. That's in Mark 15. And what did he do? So he didn't do deceit. He didn't attack the idea. He didn't attack the person in character. He didn't attack the consequences by threat. So what did he do? He entrusted. And the biggest question is he continued to entrust. So it wasn't his first moment in entrusting. He entrusted himself to something. And one of the questions is, what do you trust yourself to? Is it your health? Is it working out? Is it your habit of recycling? Is it getting 8 hours of sleep a night? Are you entrusting yourself to being a positive person? Are you entrusting yourself to your Roth IRA or 401k? No, the idea here is, what is the object of your entrusting? What is your object of entrusting? When you are in a milieu of injustice, who do you trust? You trust the just God. Verse 23, when he was reviled, he did not revile in return. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but continued entrusting himself to him who judges justly. So in this milieu of injustice, he trusts himself towards the one who is justice. And what does that mean? What does it mean to entrust? Well, paradidomi is the Greek word. It means to hand yourself over. So he hands himself over to the Father. He gives himself and commits himself and transmits himself, sort of almost visually. So in conclusion today is, I know you're suffering. Everybody who listens to the podcast is suffering. And Jesus, I am suffering, and I need to follow your example. I don't want to attack the person that's maybe causing me to suffer unjustly by cunning and deceit, or by ideas or character assassination or consequences and threat. What I do need to do is entrust to you. So when in a system of injustice, I entrust myself to the just. When suffering, I entrust to the one who suffered first. And I'm going to do it without deceit, without reviling, without threatening, without attacking the ideas, without attacking the character, without attacking the consequences, having oral restraint, and then having spiritual entrusting. So today, when in injustice, we entrust ourselves to the one who judges justly. Thank you for listening.